Today I'm going to show you how I have created this beautiful domain name for my services running in my Homelab that is only accessible in my home network and is not publicly exposed. The only way that I can connect to these services are either from my home network or some sort of connection to my home network via VPN or something similar. It has a valid SSL certificate from Let's Encrypt. It has auto renewal and I don't have to do anything to renew it. I have used wildcards to direct anything .lab.sn.me to my home lab. So Portainer, Uptime Kuma, and anything else that you want with just a few lines of configuration inside GitHub. We're going to set up Traefik to handle our SSL certificates automatically through Cloudflare. This means we won't have to manually renew our certificates. And to make this happen, we will need to create a Cloudflare API token and add it to our Traefik configuration. So let's head over to our Cloudflare, click on your profile, choose My Profile, then API tokens, create a token, choose Edit Zone DNS. The first line is correct. The proper domain name, give it a name, create the token. Grab your token, go to your repository, then setting, secrets and variables, actions, the repository secrets, and paste that in. Just give it a name. I'll go with this one and add secret. We need a new LXC that runs Docker so that we can deploy Traefik. Head over to proxmoxv helper script, search for Docker, and just grab the first one. Copy that, go to your proxmox, go to your main node, shell, and paste that in. Choose yes. I'll go with advanced. I prefer Ubuntu 22 unprivileged. Choose a password. For now, I will go with Traefik1, Traefik1 22. Host name can be Traefik test. 4 gigs enough. 2 cores of CPU is enough. I will leave it at 2 gigabytes. The bridge is fine. IP address, I will specify this IP address and gateway. The rest can be the default values. Actually, I need SSH access, so yes. And variables no, and create it. Docker compose, of course, and it's done. Let's open our new LXC, go to the console and log in. It will be root and the password that we choose earlier, Traefik1. The first thing I'm going to do is enable remote access to this Docker daemon. So let's start with this command. Add this. Save it. Now I'm going to create a new SSH key in order to git pull from our repository. Just do SSH keygen. You can just enter for everything. And then cat this, grab this one, go to your repository, setting, deploy keys, create a new one, and give it a name. So in my case, it will be Traefik LXC. With that, we can git pull this repository. So copy that. Then I'm going to put everything that I have in, let's say, data. Then let's clone our repo. I will name that repo Traefik, and that's done. So we can see the contents of this repository right there. Later, all of our configurations in our repository will be right here. So our Traefik application can read all the configs right from this directory. Now I need to decide what's going to be my domain name for this Homelab. I'll choose my domain, then go to DNS and start adding 2 records. First one will be an A record to lab. So lab.sn.me will point to this IP address. So I will enter my IP address for this Traefik instance. And this is quite important. Turn this off. Add this one, create another record. This is going to be a C name, and it's going to be lab.sn.me. Also make sure to turn this off. Click on save, and we are done here. So I've added a few files to our repository. I'll walk you through the files that we just created. The first and easy one is Docker Compose file. This is going to be our Docker Compose. It's going to serve on port 80 HTTP and 443 HTTPS port, and we have mounted a few files, which I'll show you later. This directory will be our Traefik configuration from here, and Let's Encrypt. This is going to be our certificate configurations. So all the created and issued certificates will be in this directory. Deployment file, again, is very straightforward. On every push on master branch, we're going to do this. So on this IP address, which we specified earlier for this instance, we're going to check out the code. This is quite interesting and new. We're going to go to /data/Traefik, which we clone the repository in this directory, and just do a git pull origin master. And that's it. This will pull all these new changes in dynamic folder. One thing, we need to specify SSH username and password in our GitHub action secrets. So let's do that. Again, go to repository, setting, actions, and here SSH username will be root and password will be Traefik1, which we specified while we created the LXC container. Then we set up the Docker context and we source the secret that we created earlier into our environment variables, and then we basically do a Docker pull and Docker compose up. Now, this Traefik directory, it's going to be our configuration. The only thing that you need to change is the domain name right here. So based on what we just configured in our Cloudflare panel, just specify the domain name that you have. You can also specify an email in case there's an issue or any problem. It's going to send you an email. From now on, whenever you want to create a new application and add a new domain name, it's as easy as creating just a file under dynamic directory. You need to specify the domain name. For example, for uptime Kuma, I'm going to say uptime.lab.sn.me 192.168.2.121. So let's say deploy Traefik and uptime Kuma. Let's do commit and push and go to our repository. Okay, the job is done. Let's see what's the results. I can go to my Traefik LXC and do docker ps. I have my Traefik right here. I can see the logs. Okay, I fixed the issue. The problem was we need to specify like this. Traefik dashboard. And it works. You can see there is no warning, there is no issue with the certificate. Let's do uptime. I have made a mistake and entered a wrong IP address. Okay, the job is done. Let's try, and it works. Another case that we might see is when we want to reverse proxy into a service that already has an HTTPS, just like Portainer. As you remember, our Portainer was deployed on this port and it was with HTTPS. So whenever you want to do this, you need to skip the validation of that certificate from your Traefik reverse proxy to that server. So that specific part, we don't have to verify the certificate. So as an example, I've added this Portainer right here to see how it works. 121, and this is the port, and this is going to be the domain name. Let's do deploy Portainer. Now let's see. Portainer.lab.sn.me, and it works.